So quick update on the warranty claims. I'm nipped in on a Sunday to clean the wife's car, so I thought I'd give you a quick update. With the Ford KA, the lady is more than happy to pay for the part, and she's almost insistent on paying at least £100 in labour, which I think is really, really sweet of her. But to be honest, for the amount of time it's going to take me to swap it over, I'm probably not going to take that money. I'll just charge her, as I said, for the part. So she's a happy bunny, just waiting on that to come in. I've had to do a little video for the customer. It's Sunday now. I think we've got it in on Monday, I think. We've left it all week again. It's still got 12.4 volts showing on the battery. When I'm starting it, the alternator's giving it 14.4. And it started immediately as I've tried it this Sunday afternoon. So I can't see there's anything wrong with the battery. It's just got to be lacquer use. But I've done a video to prove it, because I know people sometimes think you're fobbing them off, or you think you're just making stuff up. I know she probably has had a flat battery, but it's not down to the battery, it's not down to the alternator. It must be the way she's using it. These little Igos have a tiny little battery, they've got a tiny little engine. If you move it a few hundred yards up the road and have all your blowers running, your stereo running, everything, and then drive back home again, you are going to get flat batteries on it. So I think that's what the issue is. The white Mitsubishi Mirage, I've decided to do it in goodwill. I'm going to do the little crack down the edge of the bumper there. And to be fair to her, one of my repairs down here, I think the son has bought some of the filler popped back up again, or those staples weren't quite strong enough. So I'm going to do that little repair for her down there, because I can blend in either side. It won't take me long to do. Keeps her happy. I know a lot of you are going to be shouting at this point, "You nutter, you've got to pull back from doing stuff. You're going to give yourself far too much work," which is probably entirely true. I am too soft. And I'm going to have to get tighter in future. So you are right on that. And I think what I need to do is, all the time I'm learning on this, and any of you guys that are wanting to set up, all of my mistakes are going to help you massively. What I haven't got is a form that says they're accepting the vehicle in terms of interior trim and exterior bodywork as is. They've inspected it and they're happy with it. If I'd done that with this vehicle, I could have been tougher, although I may still have decided to do something. But yeah, I think I need to do that going forward. The little black Igo's gone back to the owner. He was happy, and he was happy to pay me for the cover on the back motor of the car, and obviously it's all dried out, so he's happy with that. But again, I think going forwards with the older cars, I need to set up an agreement that says I am going to only cover engine, gearbox, clutch, major mechanical stuff on these cars that sort of over 12 years old and over 100,000 miles. I think I need to be sensible about doing that on that front. The Bravo is still parked at Lee's. I'm waiting on 2 more parts to come for the motors on that, and the guy has obviously agreed to pay the £150 for the work to be done on it. The parts are going to cost me 30. The 150 I didn't tell him would need to be plus VAT, so if I take the VAT back out of that again, I've got like 120. Parts are 30 quid, nearly £40. So I'm going to end up being paid about £60 for probably what's going to be best part of 8 to 10 hours labour. So again, doesn't really stack up, but I'd sold him the car. He hadn't picked it up yet. That was faulty. As someone else said in the comments, he should expect to be able to get his aircon working properly, and the fact he's willing to contribute is good. So I think we're all happy on that front. So regarding warranties, I'm going to stop buying third-party warranties. A few of you commented in the warranties in the section about this, about wasn't I covered by the warranties I purchased. Again, it's a learning curve for me. I was buying warranties. I won't name the warranty company because I don't think particularly they're a bad warranty company versus another warranty company, but they don't cover anything. I made a claim for a Honda Jazz electric switches for the window the other day on a previously sold car. Wouldn't cover that. I needed an oil cooler covering once, and they said, "Oh no, you just one down level on the cover that covers that." And that cost me £500. The switches cost me £30. What else have they not wanted to cover? Well, to be honest, I've only ever made 3 claims, and I've sold, I think, overall, I'm getting near, I would say, 80 odd cars I've sold since I started doing this. And I've only claimed warranty 3 times, I think, and only one's been approved, if I remember correctly. No, 2. To be fair, 2. I've claimed warranty 4 or 5 times, and 2 have been approved. And each time I put a warranty on, it's cost me around about £100. So if I'd put that money to one side, I'd have about a huge amount, wouldn't I? Really, to be honest, I'd have about nearly, getting on £8,000, £5,000 to £8,000 sat in a bank account for warranty claims. If I just put that money aside in a bank account, and as you can tell, as we've been talking about here, I'm prepared to do warranty stuff that probably wouldn't be covered by warranty anyway. So I don't see a lot of point in doing it. My only concern with it is if people are taking cars further away, up country, and then they want to claim on the warranty, and they go to a local garage that rinses them. So I think what I might do is I'm going to say, if the people are within sort of half-hour distance of the garage, I think I'm going to go with my own warranty. And if they are outside of that, and it's likely that they'll need to get the vehicle recovered, then I think I'll go with just a basic cover of warranty on it. So again, you guys that are looking to start up, you're learning from me. If you haven't got any mechanical skills, and you don't intend on the people coming back to you, then probably buying a third-party warranty and saying, there you go, give them a call if you've got a problem, is the way to go. But the kind of business I'm trying to build, I think I might as well stop doing the third-party warranties, unless I think it's a very high-risk vehicle. Stop doing the warranties and just cover it myself, because most of the stuff is just wear and tear items and not going to cover. Let's face it, if a clutch goes, let's say we send out the Micra with a top level of cover, and I pay £120 for it, which again I'm going to get charged. Don't forget, I'm going to get charged. That won't come out of my profits for the VAT man. The VAT man does it on gross profit, so I'm going to be taxed £20 on the £100 I put in it anyway. So it's effectively costing me 120 quid to put the warranty on it. And if the clutch goes, they're still not going to do it anyway, because they're going to say it's wear and tear. So if anything else goes, it's likely to be something very minor, and that £100 would cover it easily. So yeah, I think I'm going to stop spending money on warranties. So that's why I'm going to stop putting warranties on the cars. I'm going to stop putting third-party warranties on cars, and I'm going to go with my own warranty, unless they're high-risk cars or the customer specifically wants a longer warranty. So yeah, it's Sunday. Like I say, yesterday the Honda Jazz sold, the Demon Dacia sold, which is actually, I should stop calling that, because it's actually a fantastic car now. It's a brilliant little car, no problems with it at all. And a little white Fiat 500 I bought off the customer, didn't want to do the clutch work, that sold, and that went out yesterday as well. So decent start to the month. We'll see how it carries on going. I have now dropped the little Kia Picanto to 995, because I wanted to show you a flip without putting any real effort into it. I know I ended up machine polishing the whole thing, but I've worked out what the VAT man is going to charge me and everything else, and if this does sell for 995, I make about £330, which on my initial investment is about 50% return. So we're going to see if it goes at 995. My advert, a lot of the time I don't necessarily put their cat cars on there. I have that conversation when they come here, but on this advert I've listed everything out, told them they need to get their own V5, told them it has been registered Cat N insurance, but it's obviously got an MOT, it can be driven exactly as it is, given all those details. And it's been clarified that it won't increase their insurance costs, because a lot of people think Cat N increases insurance costs. It does not at all. For me, see, a car like this makes absolutely brilliant sense to buy like this for someone, because if you were to go and buy this private, it cost you probably about £1,500 with the repair done. If you were to buy it from a dealer, it'd be about £2,000. I'm asking £995 for this, and all it's got is a ding in that rear quarter. And if you were a learner driver, a starter driver, odds on are you're going to bang the car anyway. So for me, to save anywhere between £1,000 and £500 to drive it because of that little ding makes perfect sense. Obviously it would have to go out spares and repairs at 995. I would still, again, probably too soft, I would probably still say within the first sort of 3 months, if that engine, clutch or gearbox gave up, I'd help them out with it, because again, my reputation is too important, and I am very confident of those things on this car. It runs really, really well. I have no worries about that at all. So one car I never featured on the channel while I'm chatting away to you guys is the I don't think I ever featured it, is the 500X I got for my wife. And this is another example of a fantastic insurance write-off purchase. So this is a 2017 500X, with the 1.6 petrol engine in it, and we bought this for my wife as a cat. It was a Cat N car, and the damage was, believe it or not, just a broken bumper and a broken rear light. But when it hit the bumper, it should have been a Cat S technically, because it did actually damage the it damaged the skin behind the bumper here, which we just needed to pull out a little bit. So I bought a new light. I got a good deal on that because they were expensive, but I spent £100 on the light. I got a bumper for around £100, which was blue, and I actually rattle can painted this to match. And all in, I think all in with everything. Oh, it's only, yeah, did I say it's only done 11,000 miles? So 2017 with that 11,000 miles on it. All in, I think I was into it for about £4,800 all in. So she got to get a car at the time. I think I bought this last, so it was about 3 years old when we got it. I only had 11,000 miles on it, and she got it all in for about 4,800 is what we spent on it. And now she gets to it's a nice little car. I'm just giving it a hoover out now. She gets to drive a car of that sort of age for just £4,800. Now, one thing I have discovered today is I went to jet wash the car, and she said she saw a bit of lacquer peel on the boot lid, and actually there's lacquer peel all over, so I am going to have to paint the boot now. This isn't an area I did any paint on. Someone's either painted this, I think they must have painted, because the rest of the paintwork's fine, so I think this must have been painted even before, so it must have been very, very early on in its life. Someone's painted it, and this is a classic example of where someone has not keyed up the paint before putting the lacquer on. So I imagine what they've either done is laid the coats on super quick, they've done the colour and then they've just lagged on the lacquer straight away, or they've done the colour, left it for hours before they came and then put the lacquer on without keying the surface up first. Every time you're painting, you've got to think that the surfaces need to bond to each other, but you also allow it to at least allow those gases to come through the paint, otherwise you trap them behind. And this is a classic example of either lagging it on or not keying up the surfaces, because what's going to have to happen now is we're going to get all this lacquer off and repaint it. Luckily, from back here, it doesn't look bad, so you can carry on driving it as it is for the moment. But just a really prime example of paint shops. You need to get your reviews on paint shops before you get any paintwork done. You need to see examples of their work, ideally a year later, not a day later or a week later, because you really only ever find out about the quality of the paint job later on, once it's had a chance for all those solvents to dry out and so forth. But yeah, another example of a bargain buy, a really easy fix, something you could all have done at home, no problem at all. You could have rattle canned the bumper yourself. You could have put it all together. It was all just bolt together stuff. And yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, when she comes to sell it on, she'll have to declare that it was Cat N. But by the time she wants to do it, I don't think that'll be a very important thing, and we won't lose any money out of it on the basis of that at all. So yeah, if you are, a lot of people have been asking me about Copart and buying cars from both Copart and from BCA, and I've been saying the same thing to everybody. If you're doing your first repairs on a crash damaged car, avoid anything on the rear quarter, the doors, the sills, because you aren't going to have the pulling equipment and the experience to get the panel straight again and painted and looking good. So avoid anything with side damage on it. Yep. So anything with side damage on it. What you want is a basic front or rear. You want a basic front or rear. So by front, what I mean is, look out for the cars that have damage to front wings, because they're easy to replace. Even if the wheel's slightly bent, you just all bolt on stuff. So front wings, front bumpers, front headlights. One key thing to look out for though on the frontals is look for whether the bonnet has creased up. They're much harder to fix, because you've then got to get the wing in line with the bonnet, the bumper in line with the bonnet. The best frontal ones to do are the ones where the bonnet is still completely straight and the damage was lower down, because it's only likely to have dented the crash bar behind and maybe taken the radiator out, but you'll just be able to put bumper straight on again. The best fixes are obviously where it's just straight on the front bumper and the wings are still straight and the bonnet's still straight. But every time you see a car with the headlights in, don't assume you're not going to have to replace them. They prop them back in again and the tabs are normally broken. So again, you either need to be good at putting the tabs back on again, which sometimes are missing completely, or you need to factor in you might need to buy headlights. So frontals category N, non-structural, firstly if you're doing them from home, because you're not going to be able to pull out damage from a category S. Category S is going to have structural damage you're going to need to pull out, so you won't have the kit to do that and experience to get it all lined up again. So go for category N. I don't recommend going for unrecorded, because unrecorded are mechanical, and again, unless you are experienced at mechanics, normally that car's already gone to a mechanic who's given up, and it's normally problem cars where you're having to chase down problems. So I would avoid the unrecorded when looking at salvage stuff. Copart, there's another one as well, Salvage Market is worth checking out. Copart and Salvage Market is another one worth checking out, but on both of them, don't do the unrecorded, because they're normally ones with mechanical problems that other people haven't been able to work out what the problem is. So go for stuff category N, non-structural. Don't go for category S because that's structural. Go for category N, non-structural, because they're easier sellers as well. Go for frontal impacts, and ideally where the bonnet is not creased. If the wings are a little bit bent up, not a problem, you can get wings easily enough, but ideally just a front bumper. Anything that's sort of 2008 to 2011 will be written off purely for a front bumper, because the cost of a front bumper and spraying it and replacing headlights is too prohibitive to the insurance company. So it honestly can be that light. So anything from 2008, 2011, you'll probably get away with a light frontal. If you go at the higher end of that 2011, you're unlikely to have any mechanical problems as well, so you will just be doing the bodywork repair stuff. Obviously you can check that it's got a current MOT as well, because category N can be driven on the MOT that it's still got. So if it's got long MOT, you won't have to MOT it either. Just stick your bumper on and away you go. On the rear cars, again, avoid anything with a crumpled boot. If it's just the corners that are dinged in, don't worry about it, but if there's a crumple here, you're going to be playing around trying to get your boot opening right. So again, look for the lower damage the better, to be honest. Remember my Dacia stepway with the wheel well that had been pushed in? The lower damage the better, because you won't have any problems lining up the boot opening. So again, you're looking for stuff where it's just broken the rear light or the corner of the bumper, or broken the bumper lower down. Avoid stuff where you've got creases into the boot area. So yes, that's my top tip for doing anything salvage wise you plan on doing sort of at home. Go for a front or a rear. Go for low damage rather than high damage, because high damage you're always talking about openings. Like on the front of a car, you're talking then about the rad surround lining up the bonnet and the headlights. So low damage, for me, in my opinion, low damage is better. Look out for the only category S's I'd look out for is the sill damage ones, where it hasn't damaged the door. If it's really low down on the car, I'll show you for example on the Yaris here, if it's dented down here and someone does an insurance claim, it'll be category S because it's a sill. But if it hasn't damaged the door, and the door, look at the panel gaps. If the panel gap is still good there, your door opens and shuts okay, and the damage is all the way down here, you don't necessarily really even need to fix it. It won't fail an MOT or anything. I mean, you can pull it back out and fill it in again, but it won't actually fail the MOT on it. And I've sold cars with sort of a dent in the sill there, because remember, if anybody's about to jump on me and say, well, it's a dent in the sill, it's structural, remember how many cars you see that go in to have tyres done and the garage dents the sill by jacking on the sill. Those cars don't fail MOT the following year, do they? And they don't become unroadworthy. But if you call your insurance company and say, I've got a dent in the sill, I've had an accident, they will write it off as structural. So that's the only Cat S's I'd look out for. So hopefully that helps you guys. So my top tips are, look at the car, check how long the MOT is on the car. It'll give you an idea of mechanically how sound it is. Don't buy the unrecorded ones that are going to have the mechanical problems. Don't buy category S structural, because you're unlikely to have the tools to fix them unless they are, like we've just been talking about, very low down bottom of sill jobs. When you go for category N, go for front or rear damage. Don't go for side damage, because getting the side of a car straight and being able to paint a big panel like that with rattle cans and so forth is a really hard thing to do. Unless, again, the only exception is unless the damage is completely within the centre of a door and you know you can replace the entire door. But it isn't very rare. It's very rarely that. It normally goes into the quarters and stuff like that, so that's too much work. So where have I got to assess? So yeah, so category N, go for front or rear. Hopefully that helps you, because a lot of you have been asking those questions. But to be honest, you know, with the number of you sort of at the moment, the size of the page, if you want to be sending me links to one's cars you're looking at and get my opinion on them, I'm more than happy to help you with that. Look at Copart, look at Salvage Market for those. With BCA, I think I'll do a different video on BCA and Mannheim about what I look for and which cars I pick on there. But as you now know from following my channel, the caveat is that even with the level of experience I've got, I do make mistakes still, like the Dacia, missing that it was a non-runner, and the Kia that's had to go back. I made a loss on because the engine was smoking. There, you know, you still can make mistakes. These are just general guidelines. Anyway, that was just a short vid, because like I say, I just popped in on a Sunday, and a lot of you have been commenting away on my warranty one, which I really appreciate. Thanks for that. So I thought I'd let you know what I've decided to do about that. And also, like I said, just a lot of questions I've been asked about salvage stuff, so hopefully that helps. So we'll have a good weekend. I don't know when you're watching this actually, so it might not be the weekend for you guys, but again, appreciate you all watching massively, appreciate all the comments. Thank you very much.